Levan Saginashvili is still almost unbeatable, especially in 6-round format. On 25th Feb 2023 at King of the Table 6, Hermes Gasparini exposed two of Levan's weaknesses. Number 1, his endurance.
Oh, wow.
Lack of oxygen going in here.
So it really is that bad. Well, we're wishing Levan all the best at the moment.
Number 2, his lack of finishing power when stopped with a flop press. And the second weakness is a likely follow-up to the first one.
Here we
Go
go.
number 3.
Ready, bang! And the hit has happened, and another stop.
And
he's
dead
brought
wrist
the-
press. Hermes is golden gold with dead wrist press. Not in the best position, but still there. Still there.
He's outside.
Levin is climbing. Levin is trying to get better position, but can't finish it. Can't finish. Oh my God!
Why did I say that Levan is almost unbeatable? Levan will face Artyom Morozov at East vs West 8 on July 22nd. East vs West is a best of 5 rounds format. Levan's endurance isn't extremely impressive, but it isn't that bad either. How do you tire that big guy out in just 3 rounds? That's the question. So number 2, the second weakness. Where would you get Hermes Gasparini's level of back pressure to get the stop in the first place and have an opportunity to tire him out? I don't think it is possible. People are saying that Morozov lost badly to Evgeny Prudnik, who lost to Devon Larratt with less than 2 weeks of preparation. So how he is going to beat Levan? He lost 2 rounds to Dave Chaffee. How is he going to beat Levan? Okay, so let's see when Morozov versus Prudnik happened. February 2022. And this next match against Levan is going to be in July 2023. 1.5 years difference. Let's see when Hermes versus Alex Kordecha match happened. November 2021. And Hermes versus Levan, February 2023. So less than the time between Morozov's 2 matches. And we all know how much Hermes Gasparini gained during that time period. So if Hermes can go from losing to Alex 6-0, who lost to Dave almost 6-0, then taking 2 rounds from Levan in just 14 months time, I think it is entirely possible for Artyom Morozov as well. And Hermes is 29 years old. Morozov is 4 years younger. Morozov said that he weighed only 125 kilos against Prudnik, but the stats show that his weight was 130 kilos. But I don't think at that time there was any actual weigh-ins going on at East versus West. It was East versus West 2, so the very beginning of the organization. So I think his weight was actually 125 kilos. And now currently he's weighing 135 kilos and is planning on to reach at least 140 kilos for the Levan match. That is a little more than what Hermes has gained since the Alex Kordecha match, almost 15 kilos. So it wouldn't be an unrealistic expectation if someone expects Morozov to gain as much as Hermes gained on the table, not just in the gym, not just in terms of weight and muscle mass. I mean, just imagine if Morozov faces Dave Chaffee instead of Levan in July 2022. Will you not bet on Morozov beating Dave 3-0? I think it is entirely possible. So let's now discuss if Morozov can exploit Levan's weaknesses or not. First weakness, endurance. I will ask you to name one guy over 130 kilos who has a better endurance than Artyom Morozov. Devon is below 130 kilos. The other guys who are popular for their endurance is Jerry. He's really good, but I would say that he's not as good as Artyom. And Gennady, he also mentioned that he has never lost a single round. But I mean, you can just look at Artyom. He's almost 135 kilos and he's still lean. He's still shredded, looks like an athlete, 10% body fat probably. And he's extremely endurable. The fact is shown because he almost always wins both of his super matches. And we have seen many other super heavyweights get extremely tired after winning their first or even losing their first match. The next arm, they always perform really, really bad. Just like Hermes Gasparini performed against Artyom Morozov after competing against Dave. But endurance has never been a problem for the Kazakh monster. And I know that it is a best of 5 as I mentioned earlier. But I do believe that Artyom for sure has a much better endurance than Hermes Gasparini. The second weakness is a flop press. We haven't seen a flop press from Artyom yet. When Dave Chaffee top rolled him, he didn't even think about going into that position. But the same can be said about Hermes Gasparini as well. Before this match against Levan, we never saw a flop press from Hermes. So maybe Artyom can also do the impossible, unthinkable, and he can also bring out the flop press which has always been hidden from his arsenal. So I think it's a 50-50. We may see it and we may not see it. The third weakness that we have not seen yet, which I believe can be a weakness of Levan, and that is the hook. I know it is extremely difficult to force Levan in a hook. I asked Hermes this question and he said that it is impossible to hook Levan. And that is a man who most recently faced Levan. So his words should mean something. But Hermes is a top roller. He's not a hook arm wrestler. Hook is also for smart.
I thought to be in the match to go in the hook.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought now I want to go in the hook, but his wrist and his arm is too big here. Is very, very difficult to go on the side.
And I believe anyone who is good enough to force Levan in a hook will beat him there for sure. Let me make this statement more clear. Forcing Levan in a hook will be much more difficult than beating him in a hook. So if you can somehow get him in a hook, you will beat him for sure because you are that good in your abilities of getting in a hook and performing in a hook. So I think that should be Artem's plan. But when Engin asked Artem about his plan, he said that he cannot reveal all of the plans that he's making with Denis Siplankov and Babkin to beat Levan Saginashvili on July 22nd. But he will say something that his hook is the second or the third plan. So what are the first and second plans? A top roll? I think there is absolutely 0% chance that Artem can top roll Levan Saginashvili. I don't think it is going to happen. So what is his plan? Going into a flop press straight away? I don't think Artem is Jerry. That would be a horrible idea.
If you use shoulder press in the first round, he will break your arm, sure.
So I think his plan has to be hook. Just tell me how else can Artem beat Levan? It has to be hook. I think they are just hiding their plan by saying that the hook is the third plan, plan C. I don't believe in that because I cannot see any other way how Artem can beat Levan. As I said earlier, maybe a flop press, there is a possibility, but it has to come from a different place, trying to hook him or maybe even trying to top roll him, then getting into a flop press and not straight away going into it. Even I believe that Levan is the heavy favorite to win this match, but still I would say that people are way underestimating the Terminator Artem Morozov. Because if that match against Prudnik happens again, I want to know how many of the guys would bet on Prudnik once again. Whether now is the time for the 25-year-old Kazakh monster or not, that is a question that will only get answered on 22nd July. Thanks for watching, like the video and subscribe.